Hello and welcome to this short snippet video with me, Adam Rose. In this video we're going to have a look at the Lofted sheet metal bend feature within SolidWorks. It allows us to go into SolidWorks and create a more complex sheet metal part than you would ordinarily. In order to start off, I'm just going to create a new model. Okay, so just like a normal loft within SolidWorks, we need to create two profiles. In order to do that, I'm going to start by drawing one of the profiles on the top plane. To make it simple, I'm just going to draw out a center rectangle and I'm just going to dimension that up. In order to construct the rest of this design, I'm going to use some sketch fillets because we need to bear in mind that this is a sheet metal model. The sketch fillets allow us to apply a bend radius onto our corners. I'm going to apply a radius of 3mm on here. We need to bear in mind the fact that if I've got a smaller profile at the top, the bend edges at the bottom are likely to become sharper. I'm going to exit out of the sketch fillet tool and I'm going to use the corner rectangle in order to create the next part of this. My corner rectangle I'm going to align with a midpoint relationship. I'm going to make sure that this is construction geometry because I don't want it to impact on the design. So make that for construction and then just add some simple dimensions. Now that we've done that, I'm just going to trim away the excess. That leaves us with a nice region here that the model can be unfolded from. Now that I've finished the model, I'm going to exit out of the sketch. So I need to start constructing the second profile in here. In order to do that, I'm going to create a new plane and I'm going to offset that from my top plane. By holding control, I can just drag a new plane directly upwards. On this new plane, I'm going to do a sketch. For this profile, I'm going to do another smaller center rectangle. Again, we want to put on some sketch fillets on these corners, but I'm going to do a larger sketch fillet this time. I'm going to go for 30 on these bends. And I'm going to accept that change. And now I can go ahead and put in that gap again to allow the model to unfold. Use the trim tool so we can just trim away the excess. And once again, I'll finish with this so I can exit the sketch and we can just have a look at it. Now that we've done all the construction of the sketches, we're ready to actually insert the lofted bend feature. You'll find it in the sheet metal toolbar at the top. In order to insert the lofted bend, all we do is we just select the different profiles. Now, unlike the normal loft feature, we don't have to select a starting point for this. The starting point just becomes the bend region where it unfolds from. We do, however, have to make sure that these sketches have the same amount of vertexes, just like with the normal loft feature. Now that I've constructed this, all I need to do is put in the thickness. With this particular lofted bend, we can put in number of bends for each bend region, or a maximum deviation. Each time the value goes above this deviation, another bend line will be inserted. I'm going to go for a number of bend lines, and I'm going to put in 4 in here. I'll accept that in the model and then we can have a look at the flat pattern. Okay, so there's the flat pattern for this particular design. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of how you construct it. Before I finish this video, I do want to show you one more example. I've constructed this sketch, as you can see below, and this is a replica of the sketch I created first of all in the last model. I've got a plane at 100mm up, and again I'm going to sketch on this. This time, rather than sketching out a rectangle, I'm going to sketch out a circle. It works the same for circles. We do have to make sure we leave a gap for the model to unfold from. And now I've done that, I do need to make sure again that these sketches have the same amount of vertices. So in order to do that, we need to right click on this circle and split entities. That allows me to split it into a number of different items. Now, normally when you do this, you'd probably do it quite precisely with construction lines, but just to show an example, I'm just going to do it roughly like so. So now we've got a different sketch entity between each of these lines and a co-radial relationship to keep them in place. I'm going to exit this sketch now. So there's the two sketches that I've got created, and we can create a lofted bend between these two. You'll see that the only difference here is that we don't have the values for maximum deviation or bend lines, because the top profile is entirely circular. One of the things you aren't able to do when you're creating a lofted bend is inserting a gauge table to measure the material. In order to do that, we need to actually edit the sheet metal feature afterwards. Within the sheet metal feature, we can then enter a gauge table. Okay, and we can put in whatever values we're looking for. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of some of the settings and some of the things associated with lofted bends. Thanks very much for watching, and hopefully that will be useful for you in the future.